I took a quick road trip here to Peachtree City to meet up with one of my students. His name's Carter, and I think he's got a really interesting story to tell. So we're going to sit down and have a conversation. Believe it or not, Peachtree City's a second home to me because my wife Karen grew up here. And we're actually at Partners Pizza, a great local spot, and we just had some pizza. And I want to introduce you. This is Carter, and his mom Lauren's here with us.
My name's Carter Reese. I'm 19 years old right now. When I first started high school, I was kind of traveling the world doing conservation work and helping out with animal conservation, environmental issues, because my sister and I have a nonprofit organization called One More Generation that we started in 2009 to raise awareness about, endangered species. And we've gotten the opportunity now, since we have been doing it for years when I got into high school, that we were able to travel the world. And before I met Danny, that was one of the top things that we were really concerned about, was how to keep my grades up while traveling the world at the same time. And it was one of the toughest things until we finally realized that, we had to put it into a perspective that the colleges would actually look at, and that's where Danny came in to help.
Let's say when we looked at your transcript, you weren't the valedictorian.
Definitely not.
Okay? And I'll never forget this story of Carter's dad walking in with this big file, and he said, Carter's done all of these things. How do we just get that out there? How do we get the colleges to see all of these things that we've done? With the work that we did, especially around the social media piece, I think people in my industry, we can get really wrapped up in, okay, do you have the test score? Do you have the grades? Great, we're working together. We didn't really have the test score and grades to feel 100% confident.
Yeah.
But when I took a look at the work that you've done, I just knew there was something there. So, I think we went to work.
Yeah, like Danny said, when my dad walked in with the big folder, I was with him, and we had no idea how to get all the things that I'd done onto a platform that the college could see, any college, because, like Danny said, I didn't have the best GPA or test scores, and but I'd done all this other stuff that hopefully would get me recognized by some other colleges. And he set us up through these modules, and we'd go, my sister and I did this, and each kind of week we would go through a different module, and it'd be Facebook, it'd be LinkedIn, it'd be Instagram, and we'd set up our profiles so that colleges would be attracted to it. All right, let's see what this kid is doing. And that's what really kind of helped set us apart from other students. It was not only did we have all this stuff we were doing, but we now had it on a platform that the colleges could reach out to us, or we could reach out to them and talk to them about that.
When I'm teaching students about LinkedIn, Carter's page is a page I'll pull up a lot, and Carter's on LinkedIn Premium, and he can tell I'm stalking him on LinkedIn. We looked at some additional school selections, and we gave it a shot to see what would happen. What I want to do, Lauren, is for you to kind of recall that conversation we had recently about when you were checking in on Carter's. It was her top choice school, Loyola Maryland, right?
Right.
You want to kind of recount that story?
After graduating from high school with these not so stellar grades and not so stellar GPA, we knew that he was going to take a gap year and really kind of do more of that conservation work, and he started traveling. And this wasn't a gap year that mom and dad were paying for while he backpacked around Europe.
No.
He was working at every single one of these countries that he went to. So it was going to be an amazing experience, but it was work. So my job while he was gone, because he had no internet access, was really taking a look at any of the emails that were coming through to see if any colleges were interested. There was one college, Loyola, that kept emailing and saying they thought they were talking to Carter. And so they would say, Carter, we're looking at your grades, we're looking at your test scores, we're interested, but we're really kind of not seeing how you're going to fit here. So finally I emailed them and I said, first of all, this is Carter's mom, and he's in a gap year. And they were like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we've got here that he's in a gap year, and can you expound on this gap year? Or can you tell us some of the things that he's done or he is doing? My husband and I sat down and I drafted basically a page that month by month what he had been doing through his gap year, And then I referred them to LinkedIn. And I said, and basically it said, here's what happened the night he graduated from high school. He left for Laos, literally that night. And so here's what he's been doing since. And then, but if you want to see some of the other things that he's done, please go to this page. So I left it. I sent the email. And about 20 minutes later, I got a phone call from this gentleman that I had been communicating via email. So he called, and I didn't recognize the number, but I picked it up, and he told me his name. And I said, oh, okay, I just want to follow up and make sure you got that email. And he said, I did, and I don't know what to say. And I said, you don't know what to say? And he said, yeah, I'm speechless. I looked at first the document you sent me, and then I went onto LinkedIn, and I was blown away. And I'm not so concerned about grades. I'm not so concerned about test scores, and we're really interested. So that's where that went. But that was just a matter of within minutes.
I won't get into specifics because I think Lauren's being modest here, but not only were you accepted into your top choice college, so our system allows us to project what Merit Aid Awards are going to look like, and we're spot on most of the time.
Yeah.
And the Merit Award they offered you was almost double our projection. So one of the reasons why I really wanted to tell this story is I think we could all agree that sometimes maybe we get a little too caught up on having that perfect test score,
Yeah, we do.
having those perfect grades. Now, I'll never say that those things aren't important,
No,
because they are.
Of course.
But the reason why I want to share your story, Carter, is I want a lot of students out there to know that it's okay to pursue something that you're passionate about. What I really find fascinating about your story is you've really managed to put your passion out there and create a channel that, like you said, right away, that
Right.
this college recognized. As I was going through Carter's phone, amazing drone footage, amazing photos. I'll make sure I include that. I'm also going to include a link to One More Generation, Carter's nonprofit, and a link to his LinkedIn page, because you've got to see it. And is it okay if they send you a connection request? Some
Yeah,
of these
of course,
students that
of course.
might need some pointers and tips?
That'd be awesome.
Okay, that'd be
Happy to
great.
help. Realize that there are other things out there that colleges are looking at, and it's not just your test score. I mean, you can have perfect grades and not get accepted into your top college because you didn't do things outside of school. I would say try not to worry too much about if you got a B on a test instead of an A like you were planning. Don't get too wrapped up in that. It's not going to be the end of the world. As you can see, I had a 2.5 GPA. Not the best at all. I mean, that is terrible.
Definitely, we sacrifice.
But I did stuff outside of school that I was passionate about.
I think as a parent, we do get wrapped up in that whole, what are your grades? Where's your GPA? And honestly, we stressed over it a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much.
But we also knew that the life experiences that Carter and Olivia were having were something that no grade was ever going to represent, and we weren't going to take that away either. So there was this balance, and sometimes it worked for us and sometimes it didn't, but we didn't get caught up in that. We got more involved with what their passions were, and we let them go there. And I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I think we're better than fine.
Carter, I'm following you. I will always be stalking you on your LinkedIn page.
I'll be able to tell.
I can't wait to see what you do next.